knowledge and understanding about these different things that they is in their lives. And then you had others who think that they know it all, that they have all the answers, that you can't tell them anything. So I have to leave those people alone. Right. And if you know everything, then don't call me. You know. And if you want to challenge me, fine, we'll do that. But you have to challenge me with facts, right, which are stronger than argument, more profound than reasoning, more dependable than opinion. Silence is dispute, supersedes predictions and facts. Always end the argument if you know the facts. See, you can't whip out what you believe. And please don't bring nothing from the Bible to me.
All right.
Okay?
The brother is in the chat room, and he's saying that he apologized if he came off too strong. He would like to get back in and talk to you, if it's all right with you.
It's okay.
Okay, well, let me bring him back in. Hopefully, he can be a little respectful. Because I don't want to be biased toward the Hebrews. I want them to interact and engage in conversation with the professors. So we're going to try again.
What's up?
All right, Michael Edwards, you hear me?
What's up, man?
First of all, I want to say, brother, you gotta be, I'm not getting on you, just hear me out for a minute. Try to be a little more respectful. You gotta first address me by Sarnetta, that's my name. You can't be calling me out my name, I call you Michael Edwards. That's your name, right? So let's do it right as brothers for once. There's a lot of people out there watching. You're the one that say God is in your life and you're following God. So be godlike right now, my brother. Now, the professor is on the phone, and we can start this over. First of all, I want you to apologize to our...
You guys, I can't believe we're about to have a 3-day.
A 3-day is exactly what I need.
Definitely.
Excuse me, are you guys talking about having a 3-day?
Yeah.
It really brings me back.
Everyone could use a 3-day weekend. Book yours today.
I met my third husband that way.
Okay, I will apologize to him, Sarnetta. I will apologize to him, brother.
There you go. Go ahead, Professor. And we can have more engagement like this, brother. I mean, me and you, see, what a lot of people don't know, family, is that me and Michael Edwards, we talk all the time off the phone. But the minute we finish talking, he gets up, throw up videos, and I don't do that to him. But it's but go ahead, Michael. Talk to the brother.
Okay. Well, Dr. Williams, I understand that you're an elder brother, and I respect that, man. If I cut you off, I apologize to you. I didn't curse or anything. I would never do that to you. I've talked to Professor Small before. I wouldn't get on that level with you guys like that. But you asked me a question, and so I would like to answer the question fully before I was, cut off. That's what I was saying. That's all I was saying.
Ask you the question over again. You can go with your answer. When was the first Bible ever printed on planet Earth? Where and what country was it printed in, and what city?
Okay. That would be Alexandria. That's North Africa, under the reign of the Ptolemaic kings. Okay.
What year?
That would be the earlier part of the 3rd century BCE, and that would only include the first 5 books of the Pentateuch. The rest of the remaining part will be an ongoing work.
Okay, now you saying in the what century?
3rd to 4th century. I would say the earlier part of the 3rd century BCE.
Okay, give me a date in that 3rd century.
Well, I can't give you an exact date. I'm not gonna lie, because I can't cross-reference any other information to bring you to a month and a day, but I can give you a year reference.
Okay,
as far as
what year?
That's what I just said. The 3rd century BCE. The earlier part of it would include about the first 100 years.
Okay, 100 years doesn't say. But let me ask you this, brother Michael, is this. You say in the 3rd century, which is the 200s BC. Is that what you're saying?
Well, around 200 BCE to 275.
Okay, all right. Now, first place, and this Bible was a literature for what religion?
Say it again, sir. I'm sorry, just a little bit.
Bible that you speak of that was created in the 3rd century. What religion was it created for?
Well, indeed, it was not created for a religion. Actually, the inception of the Septuagint, the LXX, the first 5 books, was at the behest of a king, requesting, copies of ancient records for people that were in his kingdom, that were Israelites, that spoke Hellenistic Greek language. So it wasn't for a specific religion. It was a state document originally.
Therefore, you were saying, you're speaking about the LXX, which is a Septuagint.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you're talking about the so-called Jews being in bondage under the Ptolemy.
Well, no, not them being in bondage. At the time of the Ptolemaic lineage, the kingdom which the Septuagint is produced under, they weren't under bondage. They were living there just as we're living in the dispersion in America. There were many Israelites and those tribes that are associated with the Israelites living in North Africa.
Okay, now, what religion did they practice?
To my understanding, as far as what the texts say, there is no religion. As far as what the Chumash and the Pentateuch put forth, there is no religion of the ancient Israelites. This is not a religion. It is a blood lineage covenant, and it is a family system.
Okay. Now, were they Hellenized in Egypt?
Say it again, sir.
Were they Hellenized in Egypt?
Colonized, is that what you said?
Hellenized.
Colonized?
Hellenized in Egypt.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, they were. Yes, sir. That's why this particular set of documents called the Septuagint was made for those that were Hellenized in Egypt. Yes, sir.
Okay, and who was the Ptolemy at that time?
Clarify.
Who was the Ptolemy at that time that these Israelites were Hellenized in Egypt? Who was the Ptolemy?
Do you want me to give you his name? Because as relates to history, they only give Ptolemy and then which particular dynasty or which particular one he was. You understand?
What dynasty are you talking about?
If you're talking about Philadelphus, Ptolemy at Philadelphus, that would be the one that I'm speaking under the with things that are associated with this Demetrius Phaleres. Have you ever heard those names?
Demetrius who?
Phaleres. Phalereus.
What date do you give for him?
This would be around the same date that I'm giving for the Ptolemaic, 285 BC.
285 BC? No, that.
Not for Ptolemy. I'm talking about the book itself, sir. The book itself and the purpose for what it was written for. 285 BC. Say again?
What was the purpose?
The purpose was to have, number one, a state document at the behest of King Ptolemy, Philadelphus, a document that documents his inhabitants of his kingdom, which were Jews, but Hellenized, and even a document that would be written in a language that he used and they could use, because they didn't understand the language anymore, just like we do in America. We are Americanized just as they were Hellenized.
Okay, let me go ask you this question. Have you ever heard of the pseudepigrapha letter of Orestes?
Absolutely.
Okay, what does that say and what does it mean? What does it tell you?
The letter of Orestes is a request. Say it again, sir.
The pseudepigrapha letter of Orestes.
It is deemed.
What pseudepigrapha mean?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. A document that is said to be written for someone, to someone, but literally is written by another person. A false document. That's what
pseudepigrapha means.
It means a false document.
That's correct. Now, I hear what you're saying, and let me interject this. It says that during the time of Ptolemy II Philadelphus, Ptolemy II Philadelphus is supposed to be the son of Ptolemy I Lagi, called Sota. Ptolemy one Lagi called Soter, which means the S-O-T-E-R means Savior. He has the image that is today known as Jesus the Christ. He was first given the name of Serapis, so he became Serapis by a priest and priestess society in Memphis, Egypt, who took two of their deities, Osiris and Apis, the good representative of Ra, and came out with the name Serapis and gave that to this Ptolemy. And there's history attached to that. But now, let's get back. Ptolemy II Philadelphus is supposed to be the son of Ptolemy I Lagi. Now, it is said, tradition is saying this, that during the time of Ptolemy II Philadelphus, the Jews living in Egypt were Hellenized. Okay? That they couldn't read or write Hebrew. That the Ptolemy sent to Israel for 70 or 72 Jewish scholars to come to Egypt. And once arriving at Egypt, they were given Bibles. Each one of them were given Bibles that were written in Hebrew. Okay? And that they was put into separate rooms. And they was...
Cooties, you can't reach.
Oh, shit. Y'all forgive me for that. I clicked the video off. Let me go back to it. Damn. Sorry about that. Very sorry. Let me go back. Give me 1 second. 1 second, family. Sorry about that. I clicked the video off. Let me go back and see if we can get back to the same time stamp. Bear with me 1 second, family. Bear with me 1 second. And forgive me for that. That was a boo-boo. Made a boo-boo.
The Rosen School of Hebrew is a prestigious academy for the study of modern Hebrew.
Look at that. Another guy, Hebrew commercials on his channel.
Now, the professor is on the phone, and we can start this over. First of all, I want you to apologize to our elder, brother.
Okay, I will apologize to him, Sarnetta. I will apologize to him, brother.
Right, there you go. Go ahead, Professor. And we can have more engagement like this, brother. I mean, you know, me and you, see, what a lot of people don't know, family, is that me and Michael Edwards, we talk all the time off the phone. But the minute
and this was one of me and Sarnetta's first conversations we had. The first one was with me and Polite and Reggie and Unc. And then this one. And then a couple others.
When he's talking, he gets up, throw up videos, and I don't do that to him. But it's but go ahead, Michael. Talk to the brother.
Okay. Well, Dr. Williams, I understand that you're an elder brother, and I respect that, man. If I cut you off, I apologize to you. I didn't curse or anything. I would never do that to you. I've talked to Professor Small before. I wouldn't get on that level with you guys like that. But you asked me a question, and so I would like to answer the question fully before I was, cut off. That's what I was saying. That's all I was saying.
Ask you the question over again. You can go with your answer. When was the first Bible ever printed on planet Earth? Where and what country was it printed in, and what city?
Okay. That would be Alexandria. That's North Africa, under the reign of the Ptolemaic kings. Okay.
What year?
That would be the earlier part of the 3rd century BCE, and that would only include the first 5 books of the Pentateuch. Part would be an ongoing work.
Okay, now you saying in the what century?
3rd to 4th century. I would say the earlier part of the 3rd century BCE.
Okay, give me a date in that 3rd century.
Well, I can't give you an exact date. I'm not going to lie, because I can't cross-reference any other information to bring you to a month and a day, but I can give you a year reference.
Okay,
as far as
what year?
That's what I just said. The 3rd century BCE. The earlier part of it would include about the first 100 years.
Okay, 100 years doesn't say. But let me ask you this, brother Michael, is this. You say in the 3rd century, which is the 200s BC, is that what you're saying?
All around it.
Okay, all right. Now, first place, and this Bible was a literature for what religion?
Say it again, sir. I'm sorry, just a little bit.
The Bible that you speak of that was created in the 3rd century. What religion was it created for?
Well, indeed, it was not created for a religion. Actually, the inception of the Septuagint, the LXX, the first 5 books, was at the behest of a king, requesting, copies of ancient records for people that were in his kingdom, that were Israelites, that spoke Hellenistic Greek language. So it wasn't for a specific religion. It was a state document originally.
So therefore, you're speaking about the LXX, which is a Septuagint.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you're talking about the so-called Jews being in bondage under the Ptolemy.
Well, no, not them being in bondage. At the time of the Ptolemaic lineage, the kingdom which the Septuagint is produced under, they weren't under bondage. They were living there just as we're living in a dispersion in America. There were many Israelites and those tribes that are associated with the Israelites living in North Africa.
Okay, now, what religion did they practice?
To my understanding, as far as what the texts say, there is no religion. As far as what the Chumash and the Pentateuch put forth, there is no religion of the ancient Israelites. It's not a religion. It is a blood lineage covenant, and it is a family system.
Okay. Now, were they Hellenized in Egypt?
Say it again, sir.
Were they Hellenized in Egypt?
Colonized, is that what you said?
Hellenized.
Colonized?
Hellenized in Egypt.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, they were. Yes, sir. That's why this particular set of the documents called the Septuagint was made for those that were Hellenized in Egypt. Yes, sir.
Okay, and who was the Ptolemy at that time?
Clarify.
Who was the Ptolemy at that time that these Israelites were Hellenized in Egypt? Who was the Ptolemy?
Do you want me to give you his name? Because as relates to history, they only give Ptolemy and then which particular dynasty or which particular one he was. You understand?
Okay, what dynasty are you talking about?
If you're talking about Philadelphus, Ptolemy at Philadelphus, that would be the one that I'm speaking under the with things that are associated with this Demetrius Phaleres. Have you ever heard those?
Demetrius who?
Phaleres. Phalereus.
What date do you give for him?
This would be around the same date that I'm giving for the Ptolemaic, 285 BC.
285 BC? No, that.
Not for Ptolemy. I'm talking about the book itself, sir. The book itself and the purpose for what it was written for. 285 BC. Say again?
What was the purpose?
The purpose was to have, number one, a state document at the behest of King Ptolemy, Philadelphus, a document that documents his inhabitants of his kingdom, which were Jews, but Hellenized, and even a document that would be written in a language that he used and they could use, because they didn't understand the language anymore. Just like we do in America, we are Americanized just as they were Hellenized.
Okay, let me go ask you this question. Have you ever heard of the pseudepigraphical letter of Orestes?
Absolutely.
Okay, what does that say and what does it mean? What does it tell you?
The letter of Aristeas is a request. Say it again, sir.
the pseudepigrapha letter of Orestes.
It is deemed.
Epigrapha means?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. A document that is said to be written for someone, to someone, but literally is written by another person. A false document. That's what
pseudepigrapha means.
It means a false document.
That's correct. Now, I hear what you're saying, and let me interject this. It says that during the time of Ptolemy II Philadelphus is supposed to be the son of Ptolemy I Lagi, called Soter. Ptolemy I Lagi, called Soter, which means the S-O-T-E-R, means Savior. He has the image that is today known as Jesus the Christ. He was first given the name of Serapis, so he became Serapis by a priest and priestess society in Memphis, Egypt, who took two of their deities, Osiris and Apis, the word representative of Ra, and came out with the name Serapis and gave that to this Ptolemy. And there's history attached to that. But now, let's get back. Ptolemy II Philadelphus is supposed to be the son of Ptolemy I Lagi. Now, it is said, tradition is saying this, that during the time of Ptolemy II Philadelphus, the Jews living in Egypt were Hellenized. Okay? That they couldn't read or write Hebrew. That the Ptolemy sent to Israel for 70 or 72 Jewish scholars to come to Egypt. And once arriving at Egypt, they were given Bibles. Each one of them was given Bibles that were written in Hebrew. Okay? And that they was put into separate rooms. And they were supposed to translate from the Hebrew into the Greek. So these Jews who had been Hellenized in Egypt would have literature that they could read. Okay? So now, this was supposed to have been done. And once that was completed, they all came out of the room and put their Bibles on the table. And that was considered to be the Greek Septuagint, signified by LXX, okay, which means 70 or 72, okay. Historically, all that never happened. Historically. Because, why? Because the only place that you find Jews, Canaanites, and Israelites is in between the pages of the Bible. And the only place that you have Jews, and the reason why you have Jews is because of one Abraham.
Now, I'm only stopping at this point to assert, make sure that you remember, he said, the only Jews you find are within the pages of the Bible. The reason I'm saying that and stating that is because later he's going to reference two Jewish authors and pseudo-scholars. My question at this point is, if there is no Abraham, then why are you referencing Jewish scholars? And do you believe Jewish people are the people of that book, even though you say that they say the Torah is all allegory? Something don't make sense, Doc. It's either you've been fooled and you're a pseudo-scholar and you don't listen to your own words, or the Bible is right and somebody's wrong. Continue listening.
Abraham is the grandfather of Jacob, whose name had been changed to Israel, and he had 12 offspring. And so Abraham became the great-great-grandfather of his offspring. But the Jews today are saying that there is no ever been an Abraham. I refer you anybody to get the book called The Original Torah by S. David Sperling. S. David Sperling is a rabbi who teaches at the Hebrew Union College.
Now, S. David Sperling, or this Jewish man, again, he keeps calling them Jewish. If there are no Jews, why are you calling the fake Jews Jewish? And again, if there's no Abraham, what gives these people a right to even exist under the guise of a stolen identity? Brother Williams. And also, notice the brother skips over all of his proof. I mean, primary proof, like the proof that I'm going to give him, that states that none of this happened. Only thing he pulls out is 2 Jewish pseudo-scholars' books that say contradictory messages to not only the Torah, but say contradictory messages to his assertions and their own. One more time. If the book is only allegory and not a family and state and cultural document, then what are you doing here calling them Jewish? If Abraham never lived, then who are these people that y'all gave that state to? And why are you calling them Jewish, but you won't say the word Israelite? Something's wrong, Doc. Continue.
New York City. In his book, The Original Torah, he says, there's never been an Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, Sarah, Gideon, Esau, David, or Joshua. And Walter Williams said, don't stop there, that 99.9% of every biblical character written in the Bible never walked the earth as human beings.
Okay, can I interject now, Doctor?
Now, see, he just said it. If they never existed, if this never happened, brother, where is your proof? Only 2 pseudo-scholars' books, and you saying, no, it just never happened. But wait until you hear the proof. Listen.
Okay, wait now, just a moment.
Okay.
Further down in his book, he said that I am compelled to read the Torah allegorically because it cannot be read historically. So go ahead.
Okay. Let me go from the back to the front. Much of what you said, I agree with. Much of what you said. Allegorically.
What does that agree with?
I'm going to tell you. Allegorically, I agree with the last statement that much of the Bible is written based upon Aramaic idiom and gematria, which is a numerical study. Okay, so that relates that the Bible itself is written on 3 different levels: the textual level, the numerical level, and the idiomatic level that relates to the Aramaic language. Now let's go back. Aramaic
language brings you back to Hebrew.
And y'all see, he keep cutting me off. This is why we got off to such a rocky start in the beginning. And I went off on the brother a little bit. I'm gonna see if I can find that on this after we finish, so y'all can hear that. And the dummy Captain Tazariak was on the same call too, and boy, he got lit up.
Let me address that. Let me address the question. Let me address the thing first, and then I'll get to that. Okay. Okay. Now, as you were talking about the Septuagint, I want you to notice that the thing that you did was you jumped over your proof that the Septuagint is not valid as far as its veracity relating to Ptolemy Philadelphus. You simply said it didn't happen, but the documentation of the Septuagint comes out of the corpus of Kemet. It is a king ruler that created the need for this book. Now, also, the 70 plus scholars were not Egyptian, but but these were requested. Israel. No. Let me finish what I'm saying, sir. These 70 scholars that did the translation were requested from the land of Israel. So these people were not Egyptians that were doing.
Now, and at that point, let's observe another fact. If the historical story is true, and me and Shaka almost talked about this, and I'll let y'all hear that too. But if the story is true, then I want to point you to not the Septuagint itself, but the story that says that there were Israelites grabbed out of Israel and out of Palestine to bring scrolls to North Africa and translate them into Greek. Where did those people come from, Dr. Williams, if the Jewish people or the Jews say it's all allegory? Huh? Where did those people come from? And they were not Egyptians. They were Jews, Yehuda, and they were brought to Egypt to translate a document. And they did it in a profound way. And I'm saying, who were those people? Where were they from? And they were not Jewish. They were Israelites. Let's move on.
I didn't say that they were.
No, I'm just saying.
I said they were.
No, I didn't say that you said they were. I said that you said that the people that did the translation came from Ptolemy. That's not correct.
I didn't say that.
Okay, if you.
Yes, you did say that. You said, just like the historical story says, that the king Ptolemy, we went through Lagi, we went through Sotir, we went through Philadelphus, and you said this king requested this. Now, hold on. Was the request made by a king of Egypt concerning the inhabitants of Egypt, translated by Israelites, or was it, as you said? Let's continue listening.
I didn't say that. If you okay,
Invited the Israelites, the Jews from Israel, to come into Egypt to translate the Hebrew Bible into Greek.
That's right.
Now, I just made him fall on his own sword, and that's a debate tactic. I won't tell you what it is, but I'll tell you that's a debate tactic. Now, I just pointed out a flaw in his assertion. He came back and once again agreed that those people actually did come in and do the translation. But I told him they weren't Egyptians. They were Israelites. And he says, Michael, I never told you they were Egyptians. They were Jews. But you also told us the Jews never existed. You told us these Jewish people say it's all allegory. Which story do you believe, Doc? Let's listen.
Agree with that. Now we are in agreement. Now we're in agreement. Now let me make a statement here real quick. Now again, being that I said that your attack on the validity of the Septuagint has no agreement, in the sense that there is no other scholar that points at anything based upon the Ptolemaic dynasty. All you said was the letter of Aristeas. Now, the letter of you pointed the letter of Aristeas out as to the.
You see, he keep on jumping in. This is what I was telling him in the beginning of the conversation. Brother, if you're a scholar, you can't do that. I didn't interrupt you. Have a seat and listen. But he keeps on interjecting. When they do that, that means you're crawling up their back.
Yes, brother. Hold on 1 second, please, doctor. Just let me finish my statement. I'm going to address everything you asked me. But you addressed the letter of Aristeas. It only deals with the request that this book be made. But the book itself, the veracity of the documentation in the book, proves that the book is valid. Number one, it documents the first really conquering of Egypt by Alexander the Great. That's in the book of Maccabees. It also
You guys, I can't believe we're about to have a three.
A 3-day is exactly what I need.
Definitely.
So I know that y'all gotta do something about these commercials.
Documents the capture of Judea, which is documented by a coin called Ayudea Capta. Is on.
Stop right there. This is coinage that I brought to Brother Shaka Amos. And I'm gonna let you hear me and Shaka go in on this too. The coin on Josephus's book is an actual coin. And when you're dealing with governments and economy and culture, really the only thing that really validates culture's existence in the kingdom is economics. Economics. On that very coin is documented the capture of Judah. The coin is on Josephus's book. Now, are you going to tell me all of those Ayudea Kata coins are fake? There was never a Judah? Are you crazy?
Of Josephus's book. So what I'm saying to you, Doctor, is that, so what let me finish, I'm gonna wrap it up and then let you go ahead with it. What I'm saying to you is that the veracity of the Septuagint is backed up by history that can be proven with coins, that can be proven with inscriptions, and can be proven with the life of Ptolemaeus Philadelphus, sir.
Okay.
Now, again, let me reassert the point that this man believes in the historical party line story of how the LXX was created. He believes the story because he uses the story in his spiel to rebut me. And at the same time, the man says that none of the people ever lived. So again, we argued and went back and forth whether the scholars that did the translation were from Egypt or whether they were Egyptians. And I'm saying to Dr. Williams, brother, do you not understand your assertion and how bad it's gone wrong? Because you're now saying there are no Israelites. And if there are no Israelites, you must be calling the translators of that document Egyptians. But he argued for the translators being Israelites, just as I asserted. If the translators were Israelites, and I'm telling you, every person has a lineage in the family, then how now can you assert that they were never living people, a never living culture? Double tongue, contradiction. Again, on the Josephus's book, the coin, Judah Capta, or the capture of Judea, it was stamped in history, economics, proof of the existence of that people. Every person in existence has an ancestry. If they documented the capture of Judah as a coin, then there had to be a Judean people. And those Judean people obviously are the descendants of the Israelites. How is it that you now disagree even with economics and the documentation of that throughout history? Same thing I gave Shaka. Shaka caved in on the point because he knew what I was saying. But Brother Walter Williams is a bit older and he was slipping. So continue listening.
Through.
No, I'm through for that run of statements. Yes, sir.
Hold it, Michael. The first place I told you, in order to have some Jews or Israelites, you have to have an Abraham.
Why are you calling the white people Jewish if there was never Jews? Why are you referring me to Spurgeon or Sperling and this other author and telling me how these Jewish writers are valid and real scholars if they're themselves saying it's not a real book, it's allegory? And you're telling me that they're actual Jewish people. If they're Jewish, then that suggests that they are of a particular lineage or of a particular belief. I'm telling you, they are not Israelites, they are Jewish. But the point is, why are you fighting for those people's writings against the actuality of the Torah and history and your brother Michael? It doesn't make sense that you're saying that they don't exist, but then you refer me to Jewish pseudo-scholars. Listen.
You have to have an Abraham. Without Abraham, Abraham is the name that keeps all three major Western religions together: Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. The Jews, Michael, today, and Western academia today, as I speak.
You hear him keep on saying, the Jews, Michael, the Jews, Michael. Number one, you're calling the wrong people with a stolen identity the Jews. And you're at the same time asserting that they never lived. How are you referring me to their writings? Oh, man. Y'all don't, the intelligent of y'all understand, but the unintelligent will never get it.
It's telling you and the world that there's never been an Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, Sarah, Gideon, Esau, David, Joshua. Shlomo Sand, you ever read his book called The Invention of the Jewish People?
Shlomo Sand and Sperling are Jewish. One more time, doctor. Jewish. Jewish. How are you referring me to their writings if you're telling me that the whole book is non-valid? That don't make sense. In any real scholarship setting, you would be laughed out the building for even asserting such a contradictory rebuttal. Listen on.
You asked me, have I read that book? No, I haven't, sir. But I can prove to you. I can prove to you something. But I don't want to interrupt you. I don't want to interrupt. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Have you read that book?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
I said, yes. Have you read the original Torah?
Absolutely. I'm a Hebrew reader, sir.
And I mistook what he was saying. The original Torah is a writing by a Jewish pseudo-scholar. And again, why are you such an advocate for those people's writings if you say the whole corpus is fake? There's something terribly manipulative about what you're doing in teaching that and in your rebuttals. You want us to believe that the Jewish people are the people of the book, but the Jewish people still never existed. Why speak of them if they never existed? Why are you suggesting that I read their documents? See? Listen, keep listening.
Original Torah by S. David Sperling.
The copy of the Torah that I read is the Stone of Wisdom Chumash that comes from the...
Sperling is a book called the Original Torah.
I'm thinking you're asking me which form of Torah do I read. No, sir, I haven't read that book.
I didn't ask you that, Michael.
No, I'm sorry. We're on the phone. I couldn't hear you clearly, sir. I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you.
You hear me clearly now?
Yes, I've said that. I haven't read that book yet.
And I hope this dear professor, elder brother, remembers my name, because I can't wait to talk to him again, because I'm going to bring all of this stuff up. We couldn't finish the combo. But, you know, we had it with Shaka Amos, and Shaka caved in on this. And I'm gonna show y'all later why. Just keep listening.
You read the original Torah, right?
That particular book that you're referencing, no. I'm trying to
read The Invention of the Jewish People, right?
No, if these are books that are written by authors, certain, no, I haven't, but I'm a Hebrew reader and I read the book in its original language.
The Invention of the Jewish People. If a Jewish man is writing that and you're walking around with that book and his name on your mouth, it lets me know that you're a pseudo-scholar. Who would read a book that says in the title that I am a liar? If a Jewish man wrote a document talking about the invention of the Jewish people, what the fuck would you read it for? And why would I even read that, doc? Why would you believe it? Why would you bring it to a scholarly conversation? And why are you calling Jewish people the people of the book? The word denotes that they are not Jews. They are ish, something like it. Come on, Doc, you could do better than that. And this is your only proof. Two pseudo scholars, and you saying it never happened. But watch, I'm gonna give you some concrete information in a second. Keep listening.
Please, Michael.
You said the original Torah, sir.
Michael, please. You go and read these two books, okay? And then you come back next time I'm on the air and tell me that you read these two books. Here's these Jews are telling you, Shlomo saying in this book, the invention of the Jewish people, they are invented.
Okay. Can I interject really quick, sir?
Michael, wait.
Okay.
Michael, you are a believer. And I'm a historian.
I'm gonna tell you. Let me give you something before you go. I'm gonna let you finish.
Michael,
go ahead.
Michael,
go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
Never ever meet. You believe, and I mean this is just a kind of history. I'm giving you references. I'm telling you year, dates, and time and places. There are my things about the discipline of history. The discipline of history contains reasons: time, people, places, literature.
Doc, you don't think I know that? Are you kidding? We just talked about dates and times, places, and people. We just talked about it for 30 minutes.
Literature is used to write time, people, places, and events. So
beautiful. That's right.
Now, what you do now, Michael, I cannot continue a conversation with you because you believe this stuff. Okay?
I believe in anything I said had to do with faith, sir? Did anything I said had to do with faith?
Michael, I can come there and bring you all kinds of rabbis in front of your face in the same room, and they'll tell you.
See, he's still doing it. Now you're calling them not just Jewish, but you're giving them validity, calling them rabbis. But you're telling me that they never existed. Why are you calling them rabbis and they never existed? And I'm telling you, they're imposters. Damn, the Table of Nations says that Ashkenaz is of the isles of the Gentiles, and that was in the Torah. Why are you still here talking about their rabbis and Jewish if they never existed? Yeah. Oh my God. The devil done got in my Bluetooth. Hold on. Let me fix it, family. Hold on. Just give me 1 second. And then I'm going to allow y'all to hear me and Shaka Amos going in on the same topic. And it was very interesting because Shaka, I got to say, is a much more objective scholar. So I'm going to say it again. Me and Shaka went in on the same topic. And I've got to say that Shaka Amos is a much more objective scholar and a much more thorough scholar because he never asserts the same premises that you assert. He never makes the same mistakes that you're making, contradicting yourself. And when I gave Shaka the coin, Judea Capta or Ayudea Kata, that documents as an economic undertaking, a subjugation of a people, a capture and an oppression of a people, documented in history through coinage, and it's on there, you're going to tell me still it never happened. Listen to what else never happened. Listen. Uh-oh, wait. I gotta turn the speaker back on. Forgive me, hold on. Let me turn the speaker back on. Okay, here we go. Come on. All right.
Right quick, sir. Can I interject, please?
End this conversation so we can move on.
All right, let me say one last statement before you go, Doctor. I appreciate your time, but I want you to look up this before you lay it down tonight. It's called the Shalom inscription. This proves the existence of King Hezekiah. that inscription predates any text that even predates this Septuagint that we're talking about. It's the Siloam inscription. And last thing, that the Jewish people, the Jewish people, they will always deny the validity of this book, because if you take it literally, it leads you to believe that these are black people, Africans, the Hebrews. They're not monkeys. They're not white people, brother. They're not white people.
I said they're no non-human. That means there's no color, no race.
You said they're non-human, but you've been calling them a race and a nationality and even a religious dogma. You called them Jews, you called them rabbis, and you called them Jewish. Why are you contradicting yourself in such a wicked manner to validate them as rabbis and Jewish and Jews, but you're saying that they don't exist? You even referenced a book called The Invention of the Jews. If they're invented, if they are invented, why bring that bullshit to me? That's why I hate when, like Jabari and all these other cats I've talked to, that's why I hate when y'all bring me these Jewish people's writings. If they're telling you plainly that the book is all allegory, then y'all tell me, what the fuck do y'all sit there calling them Jewish for and rabbis? Why do they have that land over there? Why did y'all give it to them? And why you giving your brains to them, accepting an imposter like the Ashkenazim that the Torah says is a Gentile and not an Israelite, not a Jew, not even a Hebrew? Listen to some of this. Listen.
When you get more time, sir, when you get more time, I can prove it to you.
Think about the Siloam inscription. Let me say this, brother Sonetta. Siloam inscription. Who validated the Siloam inscription for Western academia? Who did that?
The people that wrote on the Siloam inscription, the Siloam inscription has been dated, sir. It's been dated.
For them.
Oh, sir, are you listening to me, Dr. Williams?
And I'm asking you a question, but you're not giving me the answer.
I'm trying to say
the Paul Siloam inscription for Western academia? That's the question. It's valid, very valid.
Brother, my reference in it is not out of Western academia, because Western academia has not talked about that in any of its books. My knowledge of the Siloam inscription, sir, hold on 1 second, please. My knowledge of that inscription has to do with years of research, of primary research and information. And that is itself, it is a proof that this king...
It's a waterway, sir, with a tunnel chiseled. You can't fake chiseling a goddamn tunnel through rock. You can't fake a dated inscription that lines up with the exact date of King Hezekiah. And you can't fake the fact that, and the King Hezekiah actually living, you can't now tell me that there was no Abraham, because Hezekiah had a father, and Hezekiah's father's father had a father, and Hezekiah's father's father's father had a father, and so on, all the way back to its root, sir. And that's not the only proof. I can go and grab you the Gezer calendar. You gonna tell me the ancient Egyptians were reading Sinaitic Hebrew? The Gezer calendar is an ancient Israelite calendar used for pulling flax and wheat. All of this is fake, huh? I ain't gonna call you crazy. I'm not gonna do that, because I love the brother and I respect him. Listen.
Sir, it's a waterway.
Just do me a favor. Will you do me a favor?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because I respect you, man. I respect you, man.
Listen, I respect you too.
Yes, sir.
Anytime that I'm on this program, Mr. Nett, please don't call me.
Now listen, he just contradicted himself again. He asked me to go read them Jewish people's books, but now, since I slapped him with that Siloam inscription and the tunnel of Hezekiah, Hezekiah's tunnel and the Siloam inscription, Now he don't want to talk anymore because you know next time when I talk to you, I'm going to ask you, how do you fake a 1,000-year-old tunnel chiseled through rock? How do you fake an inscription that is dated by your sources and by your actual reason to validate information? Huh? How do you fake the Giza calendar? How do you fake that? But anyway, we end the conversation with a good laugh. So salute to Professor Williams, because you actually stood up in the ring with me. And some of these other Negroes are just terrified.
Go and get you some black Hebrew Israelites. You all can talk all that stuff together.
Sinetta called me, sir. He called me. But I'm telling you, man, one day.
Hold on, Mike.
Okay.
Now, hold on, Mike. Now, see, Mike,
all right.
what I'm talking about. When you can carry yourself like that, man, and be respectful, and the brother be respectful, I don't mind talking to you, bro. I don't mind
man.
Program, you know?
Yeah, this was one of me and Sinetta's first conversations that we had, and the brother allowed me to talk to Dr. Williams, and I thank the brother for that. Sinetta's brought me in front of a bunch of great men and given me opportunities to talk and share scholarship with. And so I'm going to salute this brother for bringing me this conversation with Dr. Williams, man. And I'm gonna see if I can find the beginning of the conversation so y'all see how rocky it started off. So let's just hang tight.
That was a good exchange of going back and forth. I enjoyed that.
Right on, bro. And I appreciate you letting me speak to the brother, Sinetta. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate the brother's time, man.
All right, thanks, man.
All right.
All right, now let me go back and see if I can find.
These tires sell themselves.
So I know that you got so many ads on these damn videos, bro. God goodness, brother. Let me see if I can find the beginning of our interaction in this combo so you can see how Dr. Williams was cutting me off, and I actually got angry in the first part of the conversation. I got mad as hell because he kept cutting me off. Asked me a question and then you cut me off. Come on, man. And even Foolish Tazariak said the same thing the same night because he was on the line and Dr. Williams destroyed him. Almost made Taz start cussing the man out.
Children. Is there any way that Brother Reggie can...
Okay, let's go before.
Like you yourself and the upcoming scholars, like...
Actual work, you know?
Let's see. Give me a second. Bear with me, family.
Brother, you don't have the answer if you can't listen.
Okay, go ahead.
The actual word.
Listen to this, y'all. Y'all gonna trip out on this, man.
Bread actually means a bit or a morsel. So it's...
Okay, hold on. Give me a second. Bear with me.
Like you yourself.
Damn. Hold on.
And my question to you today, as an elder, as a legend.
The white people and the white man's interpretation of the glyphs, we need our own fresh eyes on it. And Professor, are you a professor? Or are you a charlatan, brother? Listen to me.
You're calling me a charlatan. You not bringing.
Let me answer. You're not even listening to me get past 10 words. Listen. Have some respect, brother.
Hold on.
That you wanted answers for.
Okay.
I wanted to give you a chance to get your questions answered if you didn't have the right ones, and it seems like you may not have the right answers.
I got you. What is the right answer?
So go ahead, one at a time. Fire away, one at a time. Let's take them one at a time. Your whole list.
I don't have the right answers. What is the right answer? Give it to me.
Well, I'm going to give them to you one at a time, Dr. Williams. Okay. Fire off one at a time. Let's go from the top of your list.
When was the first Bible ever printed on planet Earth?
Okay. When you talk about a Bible, that literally means a book, a codex. And that would mean the first codex that was printed right in your home in North Africa.
I asked you
in Alexandria. I'm Brother, I'm listening. Can you listen? Brother, can you listen?
For that question.
Brother, are you a professor? Are you a professor? Are you a charlatan? Brother, listen to me. Listen to me.
You're calling me a charlatan. You not bringing.
Let me answer. You're not even listening to me get past 10 words. Listen. Have some respect, brother. Have some respect.
Let me ask you this next question. What country was this Bible printed in? And what city in that country? I asked you those are the 3 questions. Right? What's the first date printed by?
I'm sorry, y'all had to hear that, but that was rather funny. Professor said, "You calling me a charlatan?" Yes, that's what charlatans do. They ask you a question, then as soon as you get 3 words in, they jump in, try to trip you. That made me so angry. And Sonetta ended up hanging up the phone, and he called me back and allowed me to get a chance to talk with the brother. And so I apologize to this man for calling him a charlatan because I honor the brother. He's a good elder. He just is terribly pseudo, but terribly experienced. And yeah. So what I'm going to do on the next stream is I'm going to go around and grab me and Shaka's conversation about the same thing. And I want to let you see how much more deeper we went into validating the Israelites through the same information. And lastly, I'm going to leave you with this. Y'all that keep on bringing up the letter of Aristeas as pseudepigrapha as your only reason and way to call the Septuagint non-valid is foolish. I'm going to show you why. I told Dr. Williams, but he didn't get it. I told Shaka, and he understood. The letter of Aristeas is without a doubt pseudepigrapha. Pseudepigrapha is a false document. Why is it a false document? Because pseudepigrapha is normally, I'll give you an example. If I'm Shaka Amos and I write a letter to Sonetta, but I sign the letter Michael Edwards, that's called pseudepigrapha. A letter said to be have written by someone to someone, but is literally written by another person, a third party. Okay, that's what pseudepigrapha is. The letter of Aristeas is pseudepigrapha, but the letter of Aristeas only deals with, listen to me close. The letter of Aristeas only deals with a request that this document called the LXX be made at the behest of Philadelphus. But it has nothing to do with the contents of the LXX, neither the ongoing work of the LXX, which culminated in the book of Maccabees that documented the first real, true, and utter conquering of Egypt through Alexander the Great. And the new system that was set up under Antiochus Epiphanes and others. So now, how is it that world history, the Ptolemaic kings in North Africa, Demetrius Phaleris, Soter, Lagi, and the rest, how is this all a fake document when it's all history? I told y'all Taharka is even mentioned in the Septuagint and in the Bible. Come on, y'all. Good morning, Showtime and Miss Beverly. Peace to y'all. Now I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna close this one off. I'm gonna start up another one so that you guys can hear me and Shaka's conversation about the same thing. And I want you to see how I flip Shaka about the coin Judea capture. What kind of people never existed? And there's Roman and Greek coins that documented their capture, oppression, and existence. That's why they attacked Josephus so bad. They attacked Josephus not because of the contents of his book, but they attack it because of the coin on the complete and unabridged version. And the fact that there's hundreds of others historians that agree with Josephus in more ways than one. So hope y'all enjoyed that, and I hope the audio was acceptable. It's real early, and I didn't want to turn it up loud. So we'll be back.